When looking at the summer movie season, F1 seemed to have quite some promise, with the same director as Top Gun Maverick, Hans Zimmer doing the score, and Brad Pitt being the star power to pull punters in. But does it all come together to give people a thrill ride at the cinema?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
As we can see here from the Rotten Tomatoes scores, 84% for the critics and 98% for the audience, so these are pretty high scores. We can also see the runtime, 2 hours and 35 minutes, so it is quite a long film, but it's well paced enough where you don't really feel it that much. But these scores are definitely too much, too high. It's overhyping the film. The film does have its qualities, but it's not quite up to that level. And most of the qualities do come from the technical side of things. The racing scenes, I mean, they are so slick, and you really do feel the intensity of Formula One while we're watching those scenes.
Yes! That's awesome!
When it comes to the story for F1, it is your cliche sports movie where you have those usual ups and downs you'd expect to see. We have Brad Pitt here playing a character called Sonny Hayes, who was once a driver at the peak of his powers, but now is looked on as a has-been. But he gets one last opportunity now to prove himself by a character called Ruben, who is played by Javier Bardem, to join his Formula One team and finally prove himself to the world. But on that team, there's also a young driver called Joshua, who's played by Damson Idris, who's not very happy when he sees this older guy come in to try and steal his spot. So you have that internal battle between these two drivers, which we do have that quite a bit within Formula One, but there is fights within the team, and so it's a bit different as well from other racing films as well, where it is to sort of one person versus another person who's on a completely different team, a completely different background. So this is very much within the team, and also different parts of the team as well. So we see from the manufacturing part and also from the pit crew, like there's an issue there with a character. So you do get a bit more of an overall look at things, but it's all very straightforward, very simple. I think for some Formula One fans, I think, well, they could have definitely gone a bit deeper here, but it is very basic. And then even for the racing scenes, like you will have David Croft and Martin Brundle be the commentators, like they are for Sky Sports, and they're doing a good job at that. But also they do it in a way where they do over explain things to help those who are newcomers to Formula One with this film. So that's that's handy for them, because also it means they don't have to have so many effects on the screen when the racing is happening. So you can just watch that quite a clean screen and have them fill in the blanks for those who need it. I will say though, the dialogue is pretty cringy at times. I think this film is a bit like Top Gun times Ted Lasso in that way, where Ted Lasso was about football, but it did get quite cringy, especially in the last season they did with some of the dialogue, and there is a bit of that here, which was in the trailer as well. So some of the dialogue you do sort of wince at, like, oh yeah, maybe you should have maybe cut that bit out.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. You stupid monkey.
For an official Formula One film, it is handy to have some involvement from those within the sport. Here we have Lewis Hamilton as a producer. He also does appear in the film a couple of times as well, as do quite a few of the other drivers you might recognise from the world of Formula One. But they're mainly in the background. They don't have any speaking roles, because these aren't people we're exploring here. They're not the characters we're exploring. It's these other two characters. So they're just there mainly as those Easter eggs for fans to enjoy, and also to make the whole thing feel more real, to have real drivers up against our characters. And also to make it feel more real, they did film at the real locations. Like, for example, at Silverstone, like they actually went to the British Grand Prix and did a few shots there. And I remember when that Grand Prix was happening, that we had Brad Pitt going around, and that was all being put in the news as well. So that was that's good for them to actually do that, to actually get some real footage of these races happening.
3, 2, okay. 1, action.
Even though the story here is very uninspiring and it is something we have seen many times before, the characters are all well established, and the actors do have some good chemistry with each other. Like Brad Pitt and Damson Idris in those leads, they bounce off each other well, always trying to one up each other, so that's quite enjoyable. Brad Pitt as well with Kerry Condon, there is a bit of a romance thing going there. And Kerry Condon, she's a very reliable actress, and she works well as that supporting character, and also as a character which is quite rare to see. Like a woman in Formula One isn't something you see all the time. It's still very much outnumbered from the men within the sport. But now seeing a woman in this, in this Hollywood movie might inspire more women to get involved in Formula One. So that's obviously a positive. And then also we have Javier Bardem, who plays the businessman. He's the one who brings that business talk into the film, which I always enjoy as someone who studied business. I love to see that, but I know that might bore some people. But Javier Bardem, he's very elegant in the way he goes about his stuff, and here is the same. But these characters and the interactions with one another are all elevated by that Hans Zimmer score, which, even in the quieter moments, gives that surge of energy towards it. And of course, for those action, racing scenes as well. And there's a few parts of the score towards the end which I definitely want to listen back to. Some fine work again by Hans Zimmer.
Another job well done.
If this F1 movie wants to become a financial success, it's going to have to do very well at the box office, because the production budget here was $200 million or around that. And so it's going to need about $600 million to really get into that green zone. But the film will want to get closer to $1 billion, really, and be this year's Top Gun Maverick. It has the same director, Joseph Krasinski, who's done very well here, but it hasn't got some of those other key ingredients, like being that first big action film after COVID, being a sequel to a beloved action movie from the 80s, having Tom Cruise in it and not Brad Pitt. It's definitely slightly different in terms of the quality of movie star there. And so will it have the legs to make all that money? Because also we have Jurassic World coming out next week, and also there's going to be Superman as well. So it's got a bit of competition there. But I think those premium formats, IMAX and 4DX, watching a film in 4DX, this 4DX is built for this sort of movie, to be in that driver's car. So I think those formats will do well, because you can't get that at home. There's no point waiting to watch Formula One at home if you want to have that proper experience in the cinema. So it's got that going for it. It's just whether it has the legs. And I think some of that might be down to the fans' reaction, the fans of Formula One, because I think some of them might be pissed off because this film could have been so much more, considering the opportunities from the sport itself. But instead, it's very cliche ridden. It's a film which is definitely style over substance, where it could have been the other way around, or just have a better balance. So yeah, I'll be very intrigued now to see the thoughts of your thoughts if you are a Formula One fan of this film, but also for those who aren't fans of Formula One. How did you find this movie? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to watch another video, also subscribe as well if you like the video. Let's just say that too, and like it as well. But also, if you want to see another video on screen, I have my review for Gran Turismo, which was another racing film, and also another one that YouTube has recommended for you.